Hey everybody, welcome to Halfbeard's HUD's Heads Up. In just a moment, the generic J-Rock will start, and it will be another anime Heads Up here for us. Today we're looking at Fairy Fencer F from Compile Heart and NIS, as you just saw. This is Compile Heart, if you don't remember, is the Hyperdimension Neptunia people series I have, let's say, been at odds with for a while. This is very similar to Hyperdimension Neptunia in ways in terms of gameplay, but it's a better game. I'm still probably gonna be kind of snarky about it, cause you know this, but overall, like, this is a better game. There's more interesting stuff going on. It's less creepy and pandery. And the writing is better, even though it's still NIS doing it. NIS is always really good with their localization jobs, but I mean, with Hyperdimension, there's only so much to work with. This seems to be better in general. There's more jokes. You know, they're doing a better job of kind of taking the piss out of it. And yeah, let's stop watching this fucking silliness and maybe play this video game. The plot here is that you are this guy named Fang, the guy who's, like, walking in front of all those character portraits for a while. And one day, you're a hungry asshole, and you pick this sword out of a stone, and then this fairy jumped out of the sword, and it's like, hey, I need you to collect 100 other swords, and he's like, can I eat first? And she's like, no. And then, anime happened. And that's kind of basically the plot. And then there's a bunch of, like, backstory about an ancient god and an ancient devil, and they fought and like stuff, and then they got frozen in their fight by these weapons, and then the weapons fell to earth, and then you gotta find them, and so we'll just jump into it. As I said, your goal is to collect these weapons, and these weapons end up kind of doing a lot for you. Every time you find one, you find these fairies. And these fairies are, you know, you equip them to get stats, but then you also use them to open up the world. You allot some stats to them, which I'll show how you do that in a sec. And then you plunge them into the world, and as you can see, they shaping effect. They will alter the world if they are in the world. So we're gonna, as much as you can also equip them to gain yourself some stats, we're gonna leave this one in the world just to kind of show what it's like. As you can see here, we'll get extra money and extra XP by leaving this sword in the world. And then anytime I can go in and I can pull it out. Which will allow me to then equip it on my characters. Fuck it, I'll do it. We don't need extra money. I'll show you what it looks like. So now that I've pulled the sword out, it still keeps the world unlocked. I just don't get the effects from it. But I can now go to my equip menu, go on this guy, and say, hey, you deserve this robot fairy, because fairy's a loose term, I guess. Whatever. And we'll go jump into the world. There's a bunch of other systems, which I will show eventually. But yeah. Just kind of get into the gameplay. It is a Hyperdimension Neptunia game, but first here's some dialogue, I guess.
Be careful and look for an entry. My feet hurt.
Yeah, it's some anime dialogue, alright.
And I'm hungry. Stop complaining. Try.
I said the writing was better, and there are jokes here and there, but in between, you know, there's only so much you can do with it. It definitely feels like a Compile Heart game. The voice acting sounds like Compile Heart voice acting. Like, even though it's NIS doing the localization, like, there's still, like, the team that... It must be that a lot of the same VO actors who did Hyperdimension, I'm hearing familiar voices.
Oh well, theories can usually be. Let us enter.
And the writing style is very similar as well.
Hey, just.
Yeah.
Alright.
You both are wrong. It only feels cold to you because you are stupid.
That's kind of this game's idea of a joke. It's not necessarily funny, but it's there.
Ground and walls are frozen.
Aren't you cold, Tiara? You've been shivering for a... No, it's not. I've never had a runny nose. In fact,
And then it keeps going.
I have a drop of mucus in my entire...
Wow, that's amazing.
Alright, yeah.
The reason
I don't really have comment. We're just skip all this dialogue. No more of this. They're gonna do anime things.
I want to Enough already.
Okay. I can't hit the X button faster. I need to show people the combat here. Combat! Go fight this thing! So here's a combat. It's very much Hyper Dimension Studios combat, where it's turn-based, but it's also doing this weird, like, run around in a circle thing, which, like, it works, but I have the same problem that I had in Hyper Dimension Studio, where basically all it ends up doing is you end up doing very basic tactics, which generally boil down to get as close to behind the enemy as you can and hit it, and then on the enemy's turn, it will get as close to behind you as it can and then hit you. And it kind of goes back and forth. It doesn't really add anything that having just pure turn-based wouldn't have helped. There's also commands, as you can see. These are determined by your fairy, which you get from which characters had initially. They're pretty basic. Basic magic, basic hitting attacks. What you would expect. Commands, special attacks. We're just going to attack instead, because that's easier. As you can see, I'm getting a little combo stuff there. Basically, as you kind of develop your weapon, which I'll show that system in a little bit, you are able to unlock other forms for your weapon, which you can kind of do in combos to do some cool, different things. Not a hard game necessarily. Just like Hyper Dimension Studio so far, I've been able to kind of bash my way through it without too much effort. But I mean, if you like those games, you'll probably like this one. It feels very similar. It's a bit more interesting just in that it's not going for the super creepy stuff and the video game pandery bits. Like, I wanted the concept behind Hyper Dimension Studio, the idea of, like, turning the console wars into like, making an allegory for the console wars in this, like, anthropomorphized version of it, but it would never work. This is a little bit more just like, it's a traditional JRPG. They're doing some anime bullshit, finding swords, whatever, you can get into it. You can ignore it and hit the button a lot. I don't know. I think maybe if you were the type of person who enjoys this type of thing, like this type of anime, these type of characters, you will eventually get into them, I guess, but I'm not into that. Music's interesting so far. It's done by Nobuo Uematsu, supposedly. You know, that godfather of Final Fantasy music. If there's a piece of Final Fantasy music you like, he probably wrote it. But overall, it's definitely not sounded like his stuff necessarily. Get some weird stuff in there. It's definitely better than Hyper Dimension Neptunia music. And then this is the overworld. You're gonna run around. It's not like this stuff's not destructible. It's a very basic looking environment. Oh. Yeah, so there's this, they call it symbol attacking. It's just attack beforehand. You'll get the preemptive. If they hit you, even though they're in the middle of the attack, they get the attack. What you'd expect. Let's look at some of these commands. There are a bunch of different stuff, and as you can see, they all kind of work on these range systems where eventually you'll be able to, where certain attacks you'll be able to hit multiple enemies with. It's like, I can do this. These guys are water, I think, so I don't think it's going to do much, but just to show how that attack works. Yeah. Doesn't work for attacks, though, obviously. And yeah, there is another system where you can kind of, like, power up your guys to a special mode called the Pharaoh's mode. But we've got to actually unlock it first. You can see that meter building up above our lives. That's kind of where that builds up from. And once we get that full to a certain extent, we're able to use it. So hopefully we'll find an enemy that we're able to hit enough to actually build that up. Yeah. It's really hard to get that symbol attack popped off if you're not right directly behind them, which is a little odd. Just hit them normally in the attempt to kind of build up that meter I was talking about, because I want to show that. If only because it's got the weird, like, one of the weirdest parts of the soundtrack of this game is when you turn into that mode, it starts getting a little, you get some weird stuff. I find it kind of interesting that Nobuo Uematsu is doing this, because I thought he was working with Mistwalker still. Maybe he left, maybe he's left the company, or maybe this is just like a special contract thing, I don't know. And yeah, this combat is like, it's fairly, like, they try to add a bunch of systems on top of it, but overall I found it to be a little, like, standard. Okay, wait. Attack. Alright, and what we'll do is now we've got a character built up enough. Once it's gotten green, you can do the modes. We'll just keep waiting until he's able to move, so we can do the thing. Alright, do the thing. And then basically he goes Super Sentai suicide mode, stabs himself with the sword, and he gets some Gitaru Man looking powers there. And then you get this Sonic music that plays. Because that's what this is. This is fucking Sonic music. Why he's not running on the side of a building with a giant truck behind him, I don't know. Then we're gonna hit this guy and then the battle will end. It's a pity because I think that's like the best song in this game so far. Oh no, I'm being attacked again. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of a pretty standard JRPG. I don't really have anything special to say about it. I mean, it's not terrible. It's better than some of the stuff I've played this year. That Battle Princess Arcadias or whatever it was, that was not great. There's a couple other games I can think of. The Conception 2 is definitely a game that I did not excite me in. It's a little. This has been inoffensive. Let's call it inoffensive. It's not as like weird about the sex stuff as Carpet Dimension Neptunia was. In fact, there's been very little like untoward stuff. No one's talked about it. They're not talking about each other's cleavage. There's not been any pictures of like. There's not been any like creepy huffing and puffing like anime portraits or anything like that. It's been fairly tame, which I'm into. And the combat is serviceable. You know, like it's not anything exciting. I don't feel like it's particularly interesting, but it's not bad. You know, it works well enough. I'm not far enough to say whether the variety's there. That's been a big problem with for me with Compile Heart games for a while. Has been that the variety of just the assets, character assets, environments, has been really low. Victory, the third one in particular, hideous amounts of asset reuse. We're talking characters. We're talking enemies where they called a different enemy. It wasn't even a palette swap. It was literally just new stats. Environments reused over and over and over again, like the exact same layout. Not even just the tile, but like the exact same layout. It was awful. So far, this hasn't had that, but I'm only 3 dungeons in, so I can't really tell you much. Most likely, they'll probably end up putting us through a lot of side quests in the same dungeons, would be my guess. But, you know. Oh, music has changed to we're in shit mode. I can't get close enough to him to heal him, so we're just gonna have to hope he doesn't die. Because if I die, that's the end of it. There's not really much of a checkpoint system in this game. It's the kind of game where they basically let you save whenever you want, but then very rarely actually remind you to save. There is like, I've seen one save point so far before a boss fight. And aside from that, it's all just, we hope you remember to save, because if you die in this random fight, you're fucking done. Back to the start. You're back to wherever you last saved, which I hate. I get the idea of thinking, oh well, if they can just save whenever they want to, whatever, just let them do it. Treating it like that makes it so that when you do die, because I mean, it's an RPG. Eventually, you're gonna run into some fight where you were not prepared. Some bad shit is gonna happen. Dying then and then having to redo the entire game essentially, or like huge chunks of time, multiple hours. It just feels cheap. It doesn't feel good. And that was definitely a problem I had with the first Hyperdimension Neptunia game. It's one I want to say was an issue with some of the other ones. And it's definitely something that's apparent in this. I've definitely had to deal with it in this. I played this game for like an hour and a half the first time, and then I died. And then I had to redo it all over again, because...
Stronger now.
Hey, level ups. And my fairy level up too, great. Let's spend some money, spend some points healing up. I actually don't have many of these things. Well, we'll do them, we'll use magic to heal, because she does have a curing magic. Where is it? There we go. Definitely want to make sure you waste the resources to keep yourself all healed whenever you can. Oh, let's talk about some of the subsystems real quick. What do we got here? So in addition to equipping fairies, which I showed earlier, you are also able to spend what are called weapon points, which you're earning from playing, going through fights, to level up your prime fairy and fury weapon thing. You're able to do things like increase the base statistics here, attack, magic attack, that kind of stuff, as well as gain more magic and skills. Gain passive abilities, which you can see here, though you gotta unlock them first, which costs an absurd amount of weapon points for some of them. And then you can buy more combo attacks. So as you kind of see, I was able to attack twice during my attack phase there. Basically, the weapons in each case are able to transform into different weapons each time, actually. And the way that works is the combo system. So let's buy Upper Scythe here for her. As you can see here on the parameters, I'm able to buy kind of combos, which basically allows me an extra level of my combo. And I can go to combo edit. And each attack, you can kind of turn into more attacks. You can turn into different things, and kind of with each one, you can change what the weapon is. And each one of the weapons has, like, different abilities. Scythes are, like, really for critical hits. Swords are balanced. Axes, I think, are really, like, high damage. There's all sorts of stuff like that. So, that's kind of an interesting system. Something worth kind of keeping your, mind on, looking into. Actually, I can change that to sword. Yeah, that's kind of the big other system is those combo edits and then, like, boosting your weapon. Those are kind of the major systems here. Aside from that thing I showed at the very start where you're putting the sword into the world to do that, it's kind of interesting how you're unlocking those swords, which is why we're gonna just bum rush through this dungeon real quick, find the boss, wherever he may be, and show you what that looks like, because that part's actually kind of cool. There's another enemy. We're gonna ignore him, because I don't feel like fighting him. We are gonna collect some items, though. And I'm gonna look for the boss, and we're gonna fight the boss, and I'm gonna show you what that, and I'm gonna show you the kind of the cool thing with this game. There's a save point. There's the boss up ahead. Perfect. Save up. We're gonna bust out all the stops. Hopefully beat this boss. I haven't been grinding, so who knows? This game just only, I haven't gotten there yet, but kind of just like Hyper Dimension 2, I'm expecting at a certain point they're going to expect me to grind. It's something I avoided in the last game. But I don't know. We found the Fury. So as I said, Furies are these swords. They're stuck into the world. They're kind of... They're magic swords, basically, each with a fairy inside them. So we're going to touch it, and then some trap will activate, and then boss! Yep, there you go. There's a boss. Big armored thing. You see a little block by its life? That's indicating that it's got a secondary life bar. So that'll be fun. Who doesn't love extra life bars? DBZ, like DBZ Budokai style. And you get these special attacks have always bugged me. It's again the Compa Heart style where it always just feels like action figures. You know what I mean? Like it's just, there doesn't feel like there's enough contact. The enemy will react, but it's just reacting the same way it reacts to every hit. It doesn't feel tactile enough for me. Do it again. We're just gonna build up our dumb special attack mode. Hear the crazy shitty music again. The awesome Sonic music. Alright, and Sonic music, go! It's the same one for every character. It's not like you make it unique, dumb music. But you get a different animation. And then she's got her own little Super Sentai Robo powers. And then I should be able to do this thing. Every character's got like a special attack that they can only do when they're in Fair Eyes mode. Which again looks like a freaking anime, like an action figure attack, but whatever. It is some crazy anime bullshit. It's full of speed lines and particle effects and just goddamn silliness, but whatever. If you are a fan of this developer and the things they do, that's what you want. I mean, I'm complaining, but let's be honest here. If you have enjoyed Compile Heart's earlier works, this is not a surprise to you. This is what you wanted from this. And who am I to say you don't, that's a bad thing. If this is what you're into, fine, I don't care. Great, I can see in fact, I can even see the promise here. I can see the potential. There is a competent battle system. There are some admittedly decent jokes every now and again. I will admit the oh, I'm cold. No, I'm cool because your stupid joke at the start wasn't great, but I chuckled a couple times. As it goes on, there's some decent like kind of fourth wall breaking kind of wink and nudge moments that I'm into. And the character is not bad. Supposedly, give me a second here, I will find the name of the guy who did it. Supposedly some of the art in this game was done by Yoshitaka Amano, who also worked on Final Fantasy along with Nobuo Uematsu. Again, this does not feel like Uematsu music in my mind. I'm gonna say he probably didn't. This is probably not the part of the soundtrack he worked on, was that Sonic music. But, like, maybe this part. I'm just saying those influences maybe don't come across super well. But whatever. Alright. This music's not as good as Sonic music. I don't know why. I just think it's dumb and I like it. I like the crazy Sonic music. I also think it's hilarious that they just go all Super Sentai. Oh, also I should revive her. Yeah. Have her run as far as she can. Use her healing magic. She should still have some healing magic. Yes, she does. Throw some particle effects and squeaky noises at her. I have him run over here and go skills magic. Oh, I can't do burning strike. I don't have enough stuff for it. Alright, what else am I doing here? I'm attacking this guy, so I can show you the sword system that's kind of interesting in this game. There are no weapons, by the way. Odd for a game in which you are unlocking 100 weapons. There are actually no other weapons that you can equip. You are stuck with the weapon you have to start, and you're just building it up. Which, fair enough. I mean, their system for that is pretty interesting, but I'm a little... I like equipping weapons. Not getting to do that kind of bugs me. Apparently he was weak to fire. What can I do now? I can continue to hit you? Sure. Oh? I didn't finish that fight. They were still...
No use.
Oh, hey, he's actually in his mode, but she's not. That's kind of cool. I wonder if that would have happened even if he wasn't in his Super Sentai mode.
Anticipate this fierce cold or these slippery and now, all I can do is admit that I did not take thanks to those two. I completely lost my composure. No.
I'm not a fan of this style of character, the, like, serious, polite, anime-made character.
I can't move it. You both should be
I don't know.
But there's still a way out of it. Thing.
And that is...
What?
She said words that I don't think mean a thing. And I turned off my thing, and then she's like, then turn it on again! Maybe. Wait, what's going on? What bullshit new mechanic are you introducing, Fairy Fencer F? Aaron struck down and entered the first... What?! And now the music has changed to something else with... Stole the Fury. Okay.
That was close, you guys.
What the fuck just happened? They were just like, no, you could have beaten that boss on your own, but instead we're gonna make the cutscene with it for you and call you weak.
It's fine. After all, but it is pretty annoying to be teamed up with Dead Weight. Especially when that Dead... Not that amazing. Did you just say... No?
Alright.
You need to be...
Enough of the anime cat fight. Let's move back on to gameplay, because that's what I want to show people. Oh hey, it's a midriff. Cry Stinger. Alright. That's not a fairy. Like, it seems like you just put a call that a fury. Call all the things that are in the sword's fury, and then call them, like, weapons of fate or something. Calling them fairies like that seems a little disingenuous. Anyways, we found a fairy. Let's go back to the main city. And if we go back to the inn, there will be some bullshit conversation, I'm sure. And then I'll get to show you how the kind of progression system of this game works.
Are you...
Yeah, blah blah blah. There's stuff going on. I'm gonna skip all this cutscene. You're gonna make some jokes about how the main character's a lazy asshole or something. Oh, I'm going to a party. That's what I read while I was clicking through this fast as I can.
Wait,
No. He made some joke about food, I'm sure. Because his whole deal is like, I like food and I'm lazy. I am an anime character. Come on! No, I don't care about this tutorial. Oh no, they tutorialize you on both the gameplay mechanics and also like backstory. Like once you get through the first cutscene in this, cutscene in this game, they give you like 8 of these little sections in a row. That's just a big massive info dump of like, this is the world, this is how it all works. Stuff has happened, I don't know. No, don't end the event. Here's what we got. So, skipping all that bullshit, godly revival is what we want. If you want, I'm calling it bullshit. If you wanted the story of this game, hey, guess what? You could go buy it for yourself. It's on PSN right now. It's $50. So we got a Fury. We can go into this weird super realm where there's the vile god and the goddess, and we can pick either of them to help them kind of, you know, raise up from the dead. We'll pick the vile god because, you know, renegade for life. And then each one of these swords has a different ability that it bestows upon the fairy that's unlocking it, as well as a shaping effect. You can see there kind of what it does to the world, whatever, if you have it in the world. And then you can also see they've got ranks. So what will happen is we're going to find one of these that I like. How about that? The ability to detect hidden treasure crystals, get extra weapon points, but it makes it so you can't use spells. That fine, we'll use that. So what we do is click on it. At least fairy. What do you mean no fairy's available? I've got a fairy. I've got that chrysanthemum guy or whatever. Display menu. Fairies. Oh, maybe I gotta look at him first. All right, great. He gave me some stuff. Try this again. Release fairy. Yeah, it's not letting me. That's weird. Maybe I have to do it on the other one? Oh, it's because they've got to be C rank. Alright, that's how it works. I need specially ranked fairies, apparently. So yeah, we'll do this one then. Press the button. And then we gotta fight a battle for some reason. We're releasing monsters from the sword, I guess? And then once they're dead, our fairy gains those powers in addition to those kind of world-changing abilities, as well as that's another sword removed from that character, from that, you know, deity. So that way they will eventually come back to the world and stories will be shaped in some way, I imagine. Successful! That shit pulls out. I bet the Vile God's actually the good guy. That's gonna be my guess. But then again, that might, I don't know. So we pulled it out, and as you can see, that's giving us these abilities. And that's how this game works. There you go. That's Fairy Fencer F. It's available right now on PSN. It's $50. It feels like an RPG by Colin Paul Hart, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's better than Hyperdimension Neptunia's 1 through 3, I can tell you that right now. The basic writing seems a little better. The gameplay seems more or less the same. I can't speak to the variety of the enemies or anything yet because I'm so early in, but I'm gonna guess it's probably not great as it goes on. I'm not saying that for sure. Maybe it is a wonderful cornucopia of enemies and environmental types as it grows, but my experience with the developer says no. Overall, though, just as it stands right now, it seems okay. Seems okay. You know, you could do worse for a JRPG, I suppose. Yeah. As always, I've been your host, Halfbeard, and once again, this was Fairy Fencer F. We're out, guys. Later.